Okay, I had to adjust that camera. Hi, everybody. How are you doing? It's your girl, Angie. Welcome back to Kiss My Cheeks TV. Let's jump into the Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is episode 6. It gave me a little bit. I wrote down a lot of notes. I don't know why. It was a couple of talking points I want to get through. Let's get through these notes. I might skip a few things, but for the most part, it was a good episode. For the most part, it was some shady moments that I want to read a few people about. You already know. So let's jump right into it. The opening of the episodes, they had all those just aerial views and city views, parks, restaurants. It just touched my heart, and I was like, oh, I miss Atlanta. Like, y'all know I'm here in Memphis. I moved to Memphis when I got married. Memphis is just not Atlanta. It ain't nowhere close. It took me a long time to get used to being in Memphis, and I do enjoy it. I have a new circle of friends. I have a really good time, but my heart will always love the ATL. But moving on from that. So Cynthia up here complaining about her guest list. Let me read her real quick. She talking about, oh, I invited 250 people, but with COVID and people not wanting to fly and, it not being safe, I didn't think everybody would want to come. I can't believe we already have 167 people. Bitch, you the fool for inviting 250 people to your, it don't matter what number wedding, to your wedding in the middle of a pandemic. What did you expect? You are on the #1 African American reality TV show, period, on Bravo. People are going to want to come to your wedding, not because they give a damn about you and Mike Hill. They give a damn about the 2 seconds they might get to be on Bravo in a screenshot of your wedding. And ha 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 to all y'all fools, because all we get to see you is on Instagram, because Bravo did not even film due to the wedding having to be inside instead of outside. So you didn't invite nobody, but when I looked at the Instagram pictures, I didn't see family and friends. All I seen was everybody who's on Bravo and everyone who is on YouTube who's big enough to be at your wedding. So, miss me with that, Cynthia. It's going to be a talking point of the episode. Mike and Dennis are really cool. Mike wants Dennis to be at the wedding. Ultimately, in another scene, Portia says she don't want Dennis to be there. Mike says, I want Dennis there to be there. I don't give a damn what Portia says. So, I don't know why we had to go through all this conversation of the episode. But let's move on. We're going to talk about Cynthia's dad situation at the end. So let's go over to Drew. It is a no ma'am to that storm wig. That platinum yellow blonde is not your color, Drew. I was looking at Drew. I don't know if I was on Instagram or what. She had some pictures up. Beautiful family. Drew, you are a very beautiful woman. You look better with your natural hair. Like 1B. 1B. It ain't nothing wrong with a 1B. That platinum is not it. They did the releasing the balloons for the father, condolences. I don't want it to seem like shade, but as they were releasing the balloons, it seems like every scene of theirs is a marriage counseling vow session. Like, you just gonna have to accept me for who I am and just love me for me. No, I ain't got to do that. I don't give a fuck. Marriage is about loving someone through the good and the bad, and I'm going to write it out for you. I don't care how bad it gets. We're going to work. You don't have to do that. Like, at some point, you got to get tired of the bullshit. At some point, you have to quit saying you have to love me for me. No, at some point, you have to respect your wife enough and your family enough to change. I don't have to just say because you're my husband, I got to put up with all your bullshit and all your Tampa trips. you know. But it just seems like every time they get together and talk, it is a vow ceremony. They have to pledge their love back to each other. It just can't be a regular ass conversation. Like every time I talk to my husband, we rarely have to sit up and vow our love to each other on every occasion because we don't put each other through all the bullshit. And that's what I don't understand about Drew. Like, you don't have to go through all the bullshit and recommit yourself to this person after every scene. But moving on. The balloons, it was cute. Moving on from Drew and her husband. Kandi has hired Eva's husband, Mike, to represent her for her child support case. Kandi, get your money, girl. Do whatever you got to do. I just don't like it as a storyline. Like, a part of me, I've already gave my 2 cents on the situation. Go back to that very first review if you missed it, because I don't want to go through it again. Some people agree, some people don't agree. A part of me is like that hairstylist girl, the judge is going to deny. Now, I don't think the judge is going to deny, but I feel like, Kandi, if you want your $92,000, which it is your money, you deserve it, it's owed to you, get your money. He the type of person you're going to have to put in jail. How far are you going to want to take this? Because if he was going to give it to you, he would have gave it to you. He would have gave it to you. And it does seem like, and I know it might seem shady to say, it does seem like you only have a concern to want this money when the cameras are rolling because you need something to talk about. I don't know. I don't know. But get your money, girl. I don't want too much coming back on me because I really don't give a damn. It ain't my $92,000. I definitely have a different opinion than most. So let's move on. So next we come to Portia and Cynthia. Portia and Cynthia, this was, to me, one of the best scenes of the episode because I felt like it was real. Cynthia was me in that episode. Excuse me, ma'am. Yeah, go ahead and give me a rum punch. But can you keep your ass inside for a good 10 minutes so I can get the tea on what's going down with Portia and Dennis? Because I have been waiting for 2 seasons to know what's really going down with Portia and Dennis and why her engagement ring is off this time. Can you stay your ass over there? 10 minutes. 10 minutes. You know, that was me. That was me. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, bitch, if you come over here one more time. Because sometimes me and my girlfriends will go out all the time. And we will sit down and get to talking and running our mouths for so long, the waiter be over like, y'all decide what y'all want to drink. We ain't even looked at this menu. You know. It's only funny to me. Move on. She starts off talking about the affair. Now, I'm wondering, is this the affair, the pregnancy affair? Or is this I was in the diner at 3 o'clock in the morning with 6 women affair? Like, we never got the true tea on that. All we got was a pray for me. But moving on. Portia was so honest, and I felt her. You know, as women, if you ain't never been through it in your life, I feel like at one point or another, people have experienced, you know, if you've dated. Some people have not dated, like they've been with one person and married that one person. But if you have dated and along your life you experienced somebody cheating on you, I understand exactly what Portia is saying. She says she became insecure. She forgave Dennis for the cheating, but she could not get over not punishing him, not making him feel, you know, like, you know, you cheated on me, and, you know, every time you argue, but you was with that bitch, you know, and you just want to jab them, like, because you want them to feel the pain that they put you through. I understood exactly what Portia was talking from, but I do feel like if you can't get over not wanting to punish someone, then you have not forgiven them for cheating. What you have done is accepted the cheating because you don't want to leave that person, but you have not forgiven, and you have not forgotten, and you have not moved on. I feel like at one point, especially in our younger days, we've all done it. Some of y'all still do. You know, I don't know. It ain't my business. Don't get to reading other people. I'm sorry. She said she gained 20 pounds, and as she's walking around cussing him out, the back fat was jiggling. And I'm like, girl, I understand. Girl, I understand. And she said she found herself, she finally explained that bottle situation that she was kind of talking about earlier in the season, about how she just asked Dennis to go get the baby a bottle. She was putting the baby to sleep, and he was downstairs bullshitting around, you know, not giving a damn. Not really, probably not saying he wasn't giving a damn. He probably just wasn't thinking, and he was bullshitting, not thinking it was that important. And it took him 20-30 minutes to come back up with the bottle. And when he finally came back upstairs with the bottle, she was like, man, what the fuck you was doing? The daughter trying to put her to sleep. She hungry and you downstairs bullshitting. And she said she had to see herself like, I'm now at the point where I'm arguing and not being myself, being petty and nitpicky with my baby in my arms. And I shouldn't have to be cussing his ass out with my baby in my arms. Like, I don't even have a regard for my child anymore. I said, Portia, I just completely understand. It is not a good thing, but I have done it. I have been in relationships where I have cussed people out with my son sitting right there. I have cussed his dad out on the phone with him sitting right there, and I'm just so angry. You do lose the regard of, oh shit, the child is saying everything I gotta say. I get it. I felt like that was a real moment. She said she was losing herself. She was starting to do the protest, and she just didn't want, she's already fighting for injustice in these streets. She don't want to come home and fight too. Thank you, Portia. Thank you for the honesty. Thank you for the realness. I've been waiting for you to explain. You ain't owe it to us, but I appreciate a real moment on TV. But let's move on from that. This is when Cynthia brings up, you know, when Mike wants Dennis to be at the wedding, and Portia was like, if I have a say, I would not like for him to be there. I would like to just come to the wedding and not have to deal with Dennis. Okay, let's move on. So, Cynthia's on a phone call with Noelle. Noelle is gorgeous. She doing her thing in LA. She has her own place. She is a beauty influencer. Congratulations, Noelle. Like, I always knew whatever Noelle chose to do, she would be great at it. She's definitely looked like the type of kid that didn't want to sit back and lean on her mom and dad, you know, just live off of them. She's making a way for herself in LA. Do your thing, girl. Congratulations. I feel the exact same way about Riley. No matter how spoiled people think Riley is, and she may be, Riley is a very smart young lady, and yes, she's spoiled. She like her mama money, but I feel 100% that Riley is going to go to NYU, do great things, and definitely will be a young adult who can take care of themselves. So congratulations to Noelle. And Cynthia was in the car talking about, do you think you could stay? You know, how long you think you're gonna stay? And she was like, well, Mom, I can only stay for 2 weeks. And Cynthia was like, 2 weeks? That's it? I'm like, shit, 2 weeks. That's a long time to be a guest in somebody's house. Like, I ain't never went home. I'm just one of those. I tell people all the time, once, I think after my freshman year of college, my sophomore year of college, I didn't come home for summer break. I went to summer school. And then my junior year, I got an apartment. And once I got my apartment, I think I was 20 years old. I just never lived back at home. I've always had my own. And whenever I think the longest I ever, even now, if I was to go home, would be a week. If that, I would do a little long weekend, 4 or 5 days. Don't nobody want a guest in their house for 2 weeks. But that's your child. And like I said, my child ain't moved out yet. I haven't today. It's graduation year. So I don't know. I might feel differently. But I was thinking like 2 weeks. Shit. I'll be ready for it. let me move on. Because I ain't there yet. I don't know how I feel. But anyway, we had Kandi Cares. Kandi's event where she's giving back food to people during the pandemic. They're driving around instead of coming to pick up the food. They're putting the food all in, bags and stuff, and they're putting it in people's trunks. Great job, Kandi. I know a lot of people are in need during this pandemic, and I appreciate seeing Kandi give back. All the ladies gave back for that. Portia talking about PJ sick because she started daycare, and I said, who the hell is starting daycare in the middle of a pandemic when you ain't got no 9 to 5? Now I can see, I don't read people who got a 9 to 5 because people have to work. You got to do what you got to do for your kids. I understand. But if you ain't doing shit, but, oh, PJ just needs some people to play with. Girl, take her ass over there. She be in them house. And if you wouldn't have fell out with Kenya, she could have went over there to Brooklyn in them house and have a play date. Hell, take her over there and let her play with Ace. But you got to put her in daycare with all these germs in the middle of a pandemic. But that ain't my business. That ain't my business. People can say a lot of shit about me because, hell, I let my son go out there and play the damn football in the middle of the pandemic. So, quit judging, Angie. Moving on. Portia was on time and she gave $5,000. Kenya came and had to be shady, talking about, oh, you can be on time for your photo op for this charity event. And I'm like, yeah, bitch, you knew to say that shit in the confessionals. I feel like this reunion, I can't wait for it. Kenya is going to get dragged this reunion for all this bullshit she's saying in the confessionals. And we need someone outside of Andy to host, because I want to know, I just can't wait for them to drag Kenya's ass for all this. I feel like you can dislike Portia because everybody all on Twitter talking about, well, Kenya just getting Portia back because they were supposed to be friends last season and Portia sided with Nene, da 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 da. Who cares about any of that? I ain't never believed friendship, no way. You really can't be too much of a friends with a bitch that drags you. Like, you can be cordial, but it ain't too much of a friendship that's gonna come from a bitch that has dragged you across the reunion stage. But anyway, I feel like, yeah, okay, if you want to come back and throw some light shade at Portia, maybe throw a little shade about, well, you and Dennis always, like when she was saying you and Dennis always get back together, da da da. I can understand that, but don't come for her fight for Black Lives Matter when your ass ain't doing shit. But let's move on. So they talking about whatever I don't forgot what the hell they talking about. But Kenya talking about, can y'all work, talk and work? And I'm like, who the fuck put you in charge? Like, see, ain't nobody ever really cussed Kenya the fuck out. The only one that used to do it was Nene, and then they got rid of her. This ain't no bring Nene back. People are like, you want to bring Nene? Yes, I would love to see Nene come back because somebody needs to cuss her ass out. And I feel like Kenya really needs Nene to come back because Kenya needs someone. Kenya likes to play the villain, but she doesn't want to be hated. I feel like you're doing stuff this season that's putting you in the Nene chair where we don't like you. But moving on, I don't care about nothing about that. So, Mike, this is the scene where they're like, well, Candy's like, I heard Mike said he inviting Dennis to the wedding. He don't give a damn what you think. And Dennis said you can go to the wedding as long as you don't have no date. I'm with Portia. How the hell you gonna tell me what to see? Portia, what you should have did is went to the wedding with the date. But see, you didn't want to start no scene at your friend wedding. That's probably why Portia dressed down. I wish I had a clip of that picture. When I say Portia came to Cynthia's wedding, I know we're gonna see the pictures later on in the episode, probably the last scene of the episode. When I say Portia came to Cynthia's wedding dressed down, like Portia looked better than every bridesmaid Cynthia had. Portia looked better than Cynthia, sad to say. Cynthia, that dress was ugly. We're gonna get to it when we get to that episode. You let that damn Rico Chappelle do one of them sheer ice skater dresses. It wasn't flattering on your body at all. I don't know what the hell Cynthia had on, but this ain't got nothing to do with that. Let's move on. So, where am I at? Now, for some reason, Kenya is piping up, and I said, Kenya, just shut up, because she talking about Dennis again. And I said, Kenya, you just jealous because, one, don't nobody want Mark to be there. And even if you did want Mark to be there, he probably still want to show up for your ass. She just jealous because at least her baby daddy want her back. Yours doesn't. You know, they sitting down having lunch. Marlo gives Kandi $5,000. Here Kenya goes again. I guess her sugar daddy gave her an extra tip if she gave him $5,000. And then Kandi does another confessional talking about, well, I thought some of these ladies would give, but I guess they aren't as charitable as I thought. We know you were talking about Kenya. And I said it on Twitter. I don't give a damn if Marlo spread open the ass cheeks of her sugar daddy and licked it clean. Vulgar, I know. But I don't give a damn if Marlo did that and he gave her $5,000. She gave. What the fuck did you give? All you did was show up with your ass looking like you were wearing one of Brooklyn's 2 to 3 hour old pissed soaked diapers. That ass looks awful. And that scene shows again, whatever you sent to LaToya, you face-tuned the shit out of that picture. But anyway, don't hate. Stop being a fucking hater. If you didn't give anything, shut the fuck up. Because clearly, if you would have gave $5,000, Kandi would have announced it because she announced everybody else that gave. Moving on. I don't care nothing about Drew and her FaceTime calls. You better get on the show because last time somebody was only a FaceTime housewife, they got fired. So get your ass back on the show, Drew. After the phone call with Drew, Marlo was like, oh, Drew is so sweet. Drew is very sweet. And Kenya was like, yeah, you know, Cynthia and her strays. I need Drew to cuss Kenya ass all the way out. I do. I need somebody to do it because I'm over it. Now they're talking about the group trip and somehow Fallon has her own plane. Okay, moving on. They talking about South Carolina. Let's get on to the end of this because it's starting to get long. The daddy thing. The daddy talk. Cynthia and Noel goes to her mama house to talk about ultimately the dad being invited to the wedding. Now, my whole thing is, because I see both sides, and I can't understand the struggle of making the decision. But my first thing is, if the daddy was whooping the mama's ass, which I don't want to make light of it, but he was whooping your ass way back then, you ain't have to put no mask over your face for y'all to be in attendance of the first wedding. So I don't understand what is the big to do. What is her big turmoil now of him coming to the second wedding? You know, it just doesn't make sense to me. Because if you got all this pain and why is Cynthia, because somebody's like, Cynthia's making her mom be in the same room as her abuser. Like they was in the same fucking room the first time. Why is it a big deal the second? I don't know. Cynthia, it's your wedding. I feel like, because even Ayanna said it, the mother seems like another. Mama Joyce, Mama Evelyn, you know, the type of moms that's been through some shits with their husbands and ain't never got over the shit. It seemed like her mom, and I don't want to tell nobody how to heal because I have my own shit. I haven't been through a marriage of domestic violence, so I don't know how to get through that. But everybody had their own shit, and I don't want to tell nobody how to get through nothing. But I just feel like you can't put the pain of your shit, the pain of the person you chose to lay down and have children with. I don't want to make light of it. I know it's hard to leave somebody in a domestic violence situation, but what your struggles can't be your children's struggles. At the end of the day, that's still her father. Like Mallory was like, I still have a relationship with him. And the mom was like, you still got a relationship with him? I feel like Once he left me, he left us. I was your mama and your daddy. How did you feel like that when the children are on TV saying they spent every summer with their father? So obviously they have a relationship with the man if they spent every summer with him. I don't know. I don't know. And I feel like a lot of this is coming from the backlash of this PSA, because now the mama is like, well, you ain't even tell me nothing about this PSA because I felt like you got me on TV talking about all this stuff. I really ain't know what I was going to be talking about. And now everybody in Alabama calling me talking about Mr. Bailey wouldn't do this. He go to church that. Now, first off, you should have cussed everybody in Alabama ass out. I would have said y'all asses wasn't in my house. You wasn't in my bed. You don't know what the fuck Mr. Bailey was doing to me behind closed doors. So you can shut the fuck all the way up. That's what Mama Bailey should have said to the people in Alabama. Number one. But I feel like her negativity of it now is from the backlash of what she said. Now, Cynthia apologized, like, Mom, I apologize. You didn't understand what a PSA was. I don't for one second believe that mother didn't know what a PSA was. I don't for one second believe she didn't know it was going to be on national TV. One, it wasn't like this is our first time seeing her mother on the show. You know what it's like when you see them Bravo people around. You know y'all filming the scene for Bravo. You knew when you was sitting up there crying your tears and sharing your story, which I 100% believe. But you knew there was a camera in your face. I'm sure in order for this to be seen on Bravo and on Kenya's PSA, you had to sign some type of release form. So I miss me with all the theatrics on the aftermath. Maybe some people called you up and didn't like that you aired out your laundry, but guess what? It was your story to tell, and you should have gave them all the middle finger and the big fuck you. You know, it was your story to tell. Now, so after Cynthia apologizes, Noelle says she's only seen her grandfather once. So I guess the only time you seen him was at the first wedding. I don't know. It ain't none of my business. She said, Granny has always been for us. It is now time for us to be there for her. And if she don't want to put the mask over her eyes and she uncomfortable, I don't feel like Granny should have to be put in an uncomfortable position. And what else did she say at the end of it? And she said, and that's all that needs to be said about that. And Cynthia was like, well, I guess we made a decision. And I said, okay, Noelle is in charge of the Bailey girls. Noelle has the final say. Now, see, if it would have been my son Cheeks, I don't care if he was 20 years old or not, I would have definitely said, look here, son, thank you for your opinion. I value your opinion, but you ain't put a dime on this wedding here. You ain't gonna tell me who the fuck I can or cannot invite. Please stay in the children's place. Ain't nobody putting their foot down and having the final say when they ain't put in on this wedding. Now, I will respect my child's opinion and I will respect my mother's opinion. But ultimately, you can't put the crimes, you can't ask your children to bear the same pain that you have when they have their own relationship with their father. Now, one thing I will say against Cynthia is, I'm going to say this against Cynthia. Cynthia in this scene did say since the PSA, her dad has not spoken. They haven't had any kind of relationship. They haven't spoken and they've been kind of estranged. And I'm assuming because the dad knows that Cynthia is the one that has the platform for this to go on national television. I don't really care nothing about that. The one thing I'm going to say about that statement is if I'm estranged from a parent and I haven't spoken to them in years, The first place I want to have a conversation is lay eyes on you. It's not going to want to be my wedding. Like, I don't want my wedding to be the let's get back together event. How about, what's wrong, Luke? It's something going on outside, so let me make it short so I can go look, because the dog done looked out the window and ran all the way across the house like he's concerned. So now I'm concerned because my dog, as little as he is, he usually ain't scared of nothing. So let me go see what's going on outside, because that's the end of the episode. Anyway, they say for the next few weeks, we're going to be going through South Carolina. I can't wait to see it. We finally going to get the stripper gate. It's probably going to take us a month to get the stripper gate. We shall see. But anyway, let's cut it off now, because I am concerned about what Luke and Angelo looking outside, and I gotta go be nosy. So like, comment, share, get in the comments. Let me know what y'all thought about this week's episode, and I'll see y'all next week for the next episode. All right, bye.